Hi everybody. I couldn't find a good video on how to replace the hydraulic trim lines. This is my Glastron GX185 Ski and Fish, Volvo Penta Outdrive, the SX. The hydraulic lines on the left side, one of them was split, so I took it off on the bottom. The hydraulic lines go on the top and the bottom here on both sides. And then that manifold in there where the hydraulic lines hook into, I was able to make a wrench to get it off without having to take the stern drive off. Took a nice Craftsman wrench and put it on the grinder. Made it into a tuning fork basically, so that I could get the wrench up and undo those two bolts. I'm in the process of putting them back on. I just got the bottom one put in, and from the other side I worked it up in there. Then with a screwdriver I pushed in on the line so that the O-ring was flush up inside there, and then I was able to flip the nut like that. Took me quite a few tries to get it started, and I got 2 or 3 real good turns, full turns with the screwdriver before I worked my way back up in there with the wrench, and a quarter turn at a time I was able to get this one nice and tight. I'm going to pause the video and line up the top one from the other side and start it up again, and hopefully we can get some more good turns with the screwdriver. So here's the other hydraulic line. I've got the stern drive turned all the way to the right to give me some kind of access to get this hydraulic line lined up with that top hole in the manifold, and they will eventually go next to each other under this rubber bracket, and then into the push actuator of the stern drive and the return actuator. I've got to leave this one out right now just to give me some room, but that'll go in the bottom. And I'm going to work at initially getting this in. Sorry, trying to do it all one-handed, but you can see where it's got to go. I'm going to pause the video and get it lined up and see if I can get it started with the screwdriver. So I've got the tip of the hydraulic line into the hole, and you can see how I'm pushing in, and then I'm going to be working the threads just like this while I move the hydraulic line around to get the threads to bite, and then I'm going to get a couple of, hopefully, a couple of turns on the threads before I turn the stern drive the other direction and come back with the wrench and work it, tightening this thing down. So you can see that I've got the line in there. Obviously it's not tight, but I got 2 or 3 good turns, and instead of putting it in from this direction, just like earlier, I was actually putting it in and pushing right here, and got a number of fairly easy turns before it started getting some tension on there. So it looks like I'm in good shape now to turn the direction on the stern drive. Now when you turn it, just make sure that you keep these other ends of the hydraulic lines out of the way, because they're going to get pinched right in here as you turn it. So I'm going to lay them up right there and go up to the bow and turn the wheel. So I'm back to the Other side. I'm working on the top one, and just like the bottom one, it's going to be a 1/4 less turn at a time. I'm not even sure if I can do it holding the camera, but you can see how I've got to flip the wrench around different directions. There's a little turn, nice and smooth. Doesn't feel like it's binding it at all. And just a matter of gymnastics here. So I'm going to put the camera down and finish tightening this up. So I'm working on the bottom end of the hydraulic lines now. For whatever reason, actually I had a hard time finding out which ones go to the top and which ones go to the bottom, and I was dumb enough not to take a picture before I started. But the top one goes to the top fitting up there, and the bottom one goes to the bottom fitting on the hydraulic ram. I'm going to put these on both sides and go from there. Okay, so now I'm going to get the hydraulic lines back up under this bracket. Get them positioned about right. Okay, I've got some universal formula automatic transmission fluid. According to my trusty mechanic, he said that'll be fine. And he said this system was self-bleeding, so without spilling too much, I'm just going to top off the reservoir. And we'll see if it runs. I've got fluid in. All the connections are hooked up. It's actually wet because I was running the motor too while I was in there. Go ahead and trim it down. Thank you, Lord. Up. Thank you very much. So, anyway, looks like I had some success. Hope this video helps you guys, whoever's trying to do what I needed to do, and just let you know you can replace the lines without dropping the stern drive. Thanks for watching.